Welcome back, guys, to another episode of Vegas Views. Dawn Sullivan and Danny Miner. Danny, those Golden Knights.
Listen, Vegas, if you're not excited this week, you're never going to be excited. We're the world champs. We're not like, I'm telling you right now, Dawn, and I mean this, The Golden Knights are going to be America's team. You know how they call the Cowboys America's team? Which it hurts me to say that because I hate the Dallas Cowboys. But I feel like the Knights are going to be America's team.
Absolutely.
I really do.
Yeah.
And people are rooting for them all over. And you know what they said, Dawn? They said the Knights are going to be good for a long time because the players want to come here to play.
Oh, yeah.
It's exciting. They get to live in Vegas. They said it's going to be hard for the other places to compete with the Knights. They're going to be good forever.
When they were interviewing some of these guys, they're happy to be here. They
love
Las Vegas.
Yes, they love it. And I watched one of the NHL players, and he's like, it's going to be unfair for Vegas because people want to play there. It's not going to be hard for them to convince people to go play there. It's a great atmosphere. The fans, come on, look at us last. Did you see out front of the T-Mobile? That was outstanding. They were singing "We Are the Champions." It was awesome.
So let me ask you, where were you?
I was at South Point.
South Point.
South Point. We were at South. We stayed the night at South Point. We did a little quick staycation. Went to swim and stuff and gamble and play poker. But during the Knights game, we sat down and watched it. Dawn, I was jumping. I was giving everybody high fives. The place was crazy. Did you watch it at home?
I watched it at home.
Okay.
And then it hit, and I just texted you. We did it.
I know.
I was like,
how about it was a blowout?
Yeah.
It was a blowout. I mean, they're so good. And now, did you see the parade?
I did.
Okay.
Were you there?
No.
No. Okay.
You know what, though? I heard nightmares how hard it was to get there. People said it was hours to get there. They couldn't park.
Well, there was nowhere to park. They closed the street to the parameters of everything. You couldn't get in, out, nothing. So that was like, there's a part of me that was like, that would have been cool to be there, but actually be there in that traffic and those people, no.
Right.
It was cool to watch on television.
And, you know, when I first moved here, you know, I wanted to go to the Strip for New Year's Eve, to see the fireworks.
I've done that a couple
and
times.
everybody told me don't do it.
Yeah.
Did you like it? But people are telling me it's so packed, it's not even fun.
It was quite a few years ago for me. So
right.
It's like, it was over a decade ago. So, yeah, it was okay. Now, no.
Yeah.
Now, no way.
That's how I felt.
I need to be in my pajamas now. 10 years ago, I was still like, yeah, Vegas. So
now, listen, at the end of the parade, you know, they all went up on stage. Some of our Knights players, they might have been a little intoxicated.
I heard this. I didn't see this part, but I heard this. Tell me, what happened?
Our one star player, God, I can't think of his name right now. Masaso, I can't think of his name. Yeah. But anyway, he was really intoxicated. And he had his shirt off. And he's like, we won, he's doing one of these, and like people loved it.
Like the Vegas sway.
Yeah. But listen, people were mad. But I'm going to tell you, they party like Vegas would party. Right? That's what we do here. Yes. We party, and that's what we do. This is an entertainment, so I have no problem with it.
Yeah.
Listen, think about this. They were wanting to win this since they're little boys.
Yeah.
They dreamed about this. So listen, did they act up? Yes. Did they get drunk? Yes. So what?
Was it bad?
We've all been drunk.
A scale from 1 to 10, how bad were they?
It was bad.
He
was like up there, and like I could tell at one point, like he was like standing on things and doing this, and he had his shirt off, and like one of their PR people was trying to get him. I saw her saying, "Okay," like trying to get him
down.
You can see their PR people like, "Oh no," because it wasn't just him drunk; they were all kind of drunk and drinking out of the cup, you know what I mean, and stuff like that. But you know what? So what? People judge people. They're like, oh, look at that guy who's drunk. I'm sure they all were drunk before in their day, too.
I can totally relate to that, too, because I represent people.
Right.
So I have to be careful the way they act. Sometimes it's like, oh, no, don't say this or don't say that. You're like, no. So with the intoxication, I'm like, please don't get drunk. This is what I tell them. Please, you become a different person.
Yes. Yes. And that's it. You can see their PR person trying, no.
Don't do it.
But you know what? It was so great for the city. I mean, the support. Oh, my God. There were so many people there.
Yeah.
And like I said, I think you're gonna have more fans from all over the country liking the Knights because Vegas.
Yeah.
I feel the Knights are gonna be like the New York Yankees of baseball. The Dallas Cowboys. I hate to say that. I hate the Cowboys. I hate the Cowboys.
People from everywhere do love them.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's like you're a Cowboy fan, aren't you?
I am not.
I thought you were.
My brother is a Cowboy.
Is he
fan.
really?
I'm not a Cowboy fan. No.
Listen,
I'm an OG Oakland Raider fan.
Are you really?
Yes, but I was a Raider fan when they were Oakland Raiders.
Right.
So Yes.
Now listen,
I like this is funny. I liked the Raiders because I liked the costumes when I was little. In my mind, they were little silver and black costumes.
I kind of like that too.
Yeah,
I'm surprised I wasn't a
cool.
Raider fan.
Yeah.
But being in the Philly area, you cannot. Philadelphia Eagles are. It's like people. I can't even explain.
Oh, I know.
it.
You guys are nuts.
It's insane.
Absolutely, you breathe it.
Yes. We used to have season tickets. I used to go to 6 games a year, and it's just everything people say about Philly is true.
Yeah.
The fight, the entertainment is the fans more than the game.
Yeah.
Because there's fist fights, there's everything, especially the Dallas Eagles games, because that's a rival. The Dallas Cowboys hate the Eagles hate the Cowboys. I mean, it's just the way it is.
But that's what I liked about the Oakland Raiders. Like back in the day, Oakland Raiders with everybody
Yes.
like that.
John
they
Madden.
were rough. Yeah, they were rough guys.
Yes.
They were like, their fans were beating each other up. It was entertainment.
The thing about the Raiders, though, and their fans, don't get mad at me. They haven't won anything in like 30 years.
I know.
I mean, they're and every year, and I love their fans. Believe me, you guys should get credit because you're like, Raiders. It's like 30-0. They score a 3-point field goal, and they're Raiders.
We did great.
Yes, and they're always like positive. And I'm thinking to myself, you have no chance of winning the Super Bowl. Zero. I mean, this team coming this year is going to be horrible again. I mean,
Raider fans, we're about the underdog, right?
Yes.
Raider fans, we're just like waiting to lose again. We don't get that hurt, but it is so funny because sometimes I'm like, oh man, we lost again. What did I expect?
Yeah. But I mean, they are diehards. I mean, they are I went to 2 years ago. The Eagles played the Raiders here.
Okay.
So I used to work for this law firm. So the attorney called me up. He said, "Hey, Danny, I got tickets to the game. Do you want to go?" I'm like, "Yes." So he gave me free tickets to the game, which was great of him. And I go to the game, and I sat right next to Raider fans. Uh-huh. And I thought everybody talks the Raider fans are just as bad as the Eagle fans. They're gonna harass you. This that. They didn't. Yeah. They were really cool with me, man. I sat right next to them. They busted me. They're like, "How could you live in Vegas and be sticking for the Eagles?" They busted me.
Yeah.
But honestly, it was all in good fun. The Eagles actually lost that game. Yeah. But I did not see what everybody saw. I thought the Raider fans treated me nice. They really did. They were friendly. Of course, they ribbed me, but that's all in the fun of it. There was no fighting. They weren't throwing stuff at me or anything. The Eagle fans, though, they throw stuff.
I've heard that. Like, it's crazy.
Listen, I'm going to tell you this story. I'm at an Eagles-Dallas Cowboy game, and if you wear a different color opponent's you're risking your life. And I hate to say it, but it's honest to God truth, Don. When I see people when I used to go into the games and you'd stand in line, I would say, don't wear that jersey. Yeah. Go back and change. I remember this young kid, he was in his 20s, he was wearing a Dallas Cowboy jersey. I'm like, he goes, "You think I'll be okay going to the stadium?" I'm like, "No, I don't. I think you should go back and change your shirt." I was sitting there one day at Dallas, this is what they do. And I know we can't curse, so I'm not going to curse.
Okay,
so just
try.
Okay.
We're at 3 seconds.
When somebody walks in with another jersey, the whole section of the Eagle fans call him an a-hole. The whole section, all the way till he sits down. And when he sits down, they all throw stuff at him. I'm not kidding you. That's how Eagle games are. It's insane. I watched a guy pour a beer on a Dallas Cowboy fan right over his head. Yeah. I mean, it's insane, Eagles games. So I was expecting that with the Raiders. And
then
I did not see it.
Oh,
I did not see it. The only thing and correct me if I'm wrong, Raider fans out there, the only thing the Raider fans told me was, it doesn't feel like the old Oakland, where they used to have the black hole. They said here, it's half the fans are the visiting team, half the fans are Raiders. Like, there was as many Eagle fans as there was Raider fans at that game.
It is what I think from being an old Oakland Raider fan to a Las Vegas Raider fan, it's commercial now.
Right.
It's very like sunshiny bubble gum.
Yes.
Las Vegas Raiders. We're Vegas Raiders. We're Oakland Raiders. We're tough. They
Yes.
were a bunch of badasses.
Yes.
Now it's becoming very like Raiders, Raider Nation.
Like shiny. They
Shiny?
shined it up.
Well,
Yes.
come on, look at where they're home.
Yes.
It's the most beautiful stadium on the planet. Yeah.
Listen, and I'm the kind of guy, I'd probably like the old Raiders, right?
Yeah.
They're
rough.
When I go to the Strip, I like going into, like, do you remember Bills on the Strip? They used to be.
God, yeah.
I used to go to all them, like, Casino Royale, stuff like that. I'm the kind of guy, I'd rather go to the hole in the wall. I enjoy the hole in the wall bars. I don't like fancy stuff, so I probably would have liked the old Oakland Raiders stadium.
Yeah.
I like going into the old things. No, I don't need things shined up.
Yeah. You know what I think is, being from the East as well, too, like, we're not really used to that because things are dirty, and like in Philly, too, it's an old place. There's so much, the history there, and everything's so historical and old in the buildings, and New York City as well. So over here, everything is brand new builds. The streets are brand new, fairly clean.
Yes.
So it's shiny and weird. And then you go back there and you're like, oh, this place is a massive shithole because you're used to here. I can't say that. Our producer's like, okay, here she goes again.
But I agree with you. Like Vegas it's nice. You go back to the East Coast, the cities are dirty. Philadelphia is dirty.
New York City, gross.
Oh my God! You don't want to go to the subways; they're horrible. No. You're risking your life. I'm going to be honest.
Wait, we're so spoiled now. Don't get weak on me. You're risking your life.
You are
so dramatic. That is so not true.
Listen,
he's being dramatic. If I go to New York City, when I go to New York City, I'm going to be hopping on a train, no problem.
Listen, I was in the subway in New York City. I never sit down. I stand because I want to give my self a chance to defend myself because there is some crazy people in that subway, don't you think?
Yeah. But see, the funny thing is we're so opposite because you're like, yeah, you want to give yourself, stance. For me, it's like I just won't sit there because I don't know what's sat there.
Oh, okay.
Or germ.
Yeah.
Think about it, how gross that is. People all day long, nobody's cleaning that train like ever.
Probably it's never been cleaned.
Never. Maybe in like 82 or something,
yes.
They wiped it down real quick, but there's not such a Lysol wipe in decades. I see that for me, but I get what you're saying. Yeah, stands up so you don't know what's going to happen.
I do. Yeah. I always stand. I don't want to sit.
Yeah,
I don't want to be a victim.
Thinking.
Yeah. But listen, you're from this city. I wasn't from New York City.
It's so comforting. It's so comforting being in a major city. I feel like nothing is going to happen. When I hear things happen on a train, I'm like, oh, that's the same thing. Like something happening wherever. It just so happens on a train. So I think people get so afraid. Like, oh, we're going to go on a subway and that's scary. That's not scary. It's just a couple of rats the sizes of cats. That's all. And some homeless. We got homeless everywhere.
You know who has a good subway system? Washington, D.C. Have you ever been there?
Yeah. No, I haven't actually.
Really?
No.
Oh my God! When we used to go to DC, you can park 30 miles outside the city and then take the train in. So it's easier, so you don't have to deal with the traffic. Because Washington DC.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah, so you can park, hop on the train, take the train into the city. Then the city it brings you out back to your car. And you actually hop on this train like 30 miles outside of Washington DC, and this way it stops the traffic so bad because the traffic in DC, I would compare to LA. It's that bad.
That's bad traffic.
It's bad. Yeah. Washington D.C.'s and Philly's bad, but Washington D.C.'s really bad.
Los Angeles traffic is so bad that it makes me not want to even go.
I don't even want to go. Yeah. And my daughter lives there, and she's always like, "Dad, come visit me." I hate the traffic.
Your daughter is so beautiful, by the way. Thank you. His daughter is gorgeous. I saw the pictures of you guys for Father's Day. Happy Father's Day, by the way.
Thank you.
And to all you guys that I didn't see this week, Happy Father's Day. Thank you for being wonderful people. But yeah, she's so pretty.
Oh, thank you.
She looks like you. I'm like, oh, how cute is that? So you guys went to eat.
Yeah, we went to eat. Then we went to. Ever go to the Pinball Museum?
I want to go. No,
it is awesome.
I heard that.
It's right on the strip. It's like little up from Mandalay Bay on the other side.
Yeah.
They put it in a brand new building. It used to be in a generic building. Now it's nice. They have it all painted. They're actually building a hotel right next to it. If you like the old games, everything in there's like a quarter. You know what I mean?
Is it just pinballs, or do they have?
No, they have everything.
Like old school Street Fighter.
Yes, all of that stuff. All of that stuff.
I love that, like old school Pac-Man, Miss Pac-Man,
everything's
Street Fighter.
in there.
Oh, what was the other one that I loved? Mortal Kombat, but old school Mortal Kombat. Yeah.
You'll love the Pinball Museum. I recommend it. We went there. We had a good time. I took my grandson when he was here too there, and then we ate dinner and. We had a good time. Then we gambled. I won $111. I was happy. Once you gamble and you win.
How has your gambling been? You been okay?
It's been all right. I'm probably going. I was going to play in the World Series event this week.
Okay.
But I'm going to play. There is an event, I believe, at the Golden Nugget.
Okay.
It's a $200 buy-in on Thursday.
Another small little iconic dinky place, but I like the Golden Nugget
They're giving
myself.
out for your $200 buy-in, I believe Thursday. They're giving a $25,000 prize pool.
Oh, wow.
So that's not bad.
Yeah.
So because there's so many poker players in town right now. Oh my gosh, there's a controversy on the World Series of Poker. There's controversy. I forgot to tell you.
Okay.
They believe a guy may have been cheating at the World Series of Poker. There's allegations out there that the guy was cheating. They have him on camera. He actually was at a featured table, so they had the cameras.
Okay.
When he would look at his cards, he would put his nail in one of the cards and mark it. He was marking the cards. He would look at it, and then when he gave the card back to the dealer, he would like stick his nail in it and give it back so he could tell. Honest to God, they got him on camera doing it. They have him on camera.
So what did they do about it? Did they stop
I don't know what they're going to do.
They didn't stop the game.
They didn't stop the game. They just realized it now.
Did he win?
Huh?
Did he win?
I don't know if he was winning. I didn't read all of that. But Daniel Negreanu said that he He said, it was weird. He said, I'm not that observant on the cards. You can mark the cards all day and I wouldn't know. Yeah. He said, but I looked, I'm thinking, this card's marked. And he said it was a jack. And he said, I saw like a little crack in it. He said, then I get another card back and it's another jack that has a crack in it. And he said, I thought, this is weird. So then they were reviewing the cameras and to me, it looks like the guy's cheating. I mean, it definitely looks to me like he's putting it in.
Just think about that. If he is tapping the jacks and you know how to count cards?
No. I'm not that smart.
So if somebody is able to count cards,
I'm thinking Dawn could, because she looked at me like, you can't count cards.
I didn't sit like that. I'm just kidding. You can't count Danny. You gotta learn how to count cards. I'm just kidding. So for anybody that can count cards, you guys understand if they were to get 4 jacks and doing that, he's setting himself up for a win, right?
Yes. Yeah. And it's crazy.
But they gotta do something about that.
I know. I mean, it just came out last night.
Okay.
And then people are like, he's definitely cheating. And then there's some people, well, maybe he's not. And I'm like, it's blatant. You can see him. He's putting them. Like, Don, I'm telling you, like, you know how poker is. You look at your cards and then you just toss them in right up. No good, right? He would, before he tossed them in, he went like this with his nail. You can see it. It's obvious. I mean, it was, they caught him. And I don't know if you know this, back at Phil Ivey, do you know who he is?
No, who's Phil Ivey?
Phil Ivey's like major, like in the top 5 of poker players. Okay, top 5. He originally got popular in Atlantic City, then he moved out here to Vegas, right? And he was at the Borgata in Atlantic City, and I guess this card deck or something that they were using, he found out that there was something wrong with it. You could tell what cards it is. Something with the diagram on the back of them, and he took the Borgata for like $2 million because there was like some kind of discrepancy in the cards that you were able to tell what card it is. So the Borgata sues him and won't give him his money because of this. Somehow they find out he did this and there was a big lawsuit. And Ivey actually lost. He actually lost, and a lot of people were like, hey, he should have won. That was your fault the cards were messed up. He just figured it out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that was a big lawsuit with Phil Ivey. I didn't know if you know who he is.
No.
He's like a Negrano.
Yeah.
Phil Ivey. But he started in Atlantic City and then he came out here to Vegas.
So he lost.
They didn't give him his money. The Borgata in Atlantic City refused to give him his money. He was playing like
I forget. A bad look on
I forget whatever the heck it was. He wasn't playing poker.
It's not his fault, right? So that was a
bad
look on the
just because they had a bad card deck.
Yeah.
And he figured it out. You know what I mean? I don't see his fault. Yeah. Hey, I mean, what am I gonna do? Not look? You know what I mean?
So tell the audience right now, how safe do you think it is for the casino? So let's say you go in. There's a couple of hustles in Vegas. I'm sure they're coming up with new stuff all the time. But with the camera systems and everything, is it almost impossible to cheat?
I would say yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd be scared to death to go in there and cheat, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you're a camera everywhere.
Yeah.
You know? I don't know if people know this, but I know, like, say somebody cashed out and put like $1 ticket. You can't even take that. You would get arrested for that.
Yeah.
You know how somebody like you print your ticket and they say, I don't want this $1 and they leave it. You can't even pick that up.
Yeah.
They're watching everything you do on that.
Once I was Red Rock Casino, and this is when Red Rock kind of not first opened. It was open maybe 2 or 3 years, but I found $600 on the floor.
Okay.
And I picked it up and I went straight to security.
Right.
I was like, oh yeah, no, because they will put you in cuffs. That's
yes.
not $600.
You can't do that.
And I was like, look, $600. I'm walking with it like, it's where's security?
Where's security?
Like, I found this on the floor and they were like, thank you so much. I know that guy was gonna pocket it, but I was like, yeah.
It's crazy, but the World Series of Poker, that's a black eye. I hope. Listen, I think it's true. I saw the guy. It looked to me like he was cheating.
That's so crazy. I have to check all these things out.
I know. I mean, it definitely to me looked like he's cheating. So I'll be at the Nugget on Thursday. Hopefully, I win. I didn't win this week at South Point.
So you need some vibes and luck. Guys, you need some vibes and some luck. Okay, Danny, you were just mentioning something to me earlier before we began. There's a crime out there. 3 little boys.
Ugh.
Tell me about this. Guys, brace yourselves. This one sounds crazy. We're going to just get into our crime right now.
Take a break.
Actually, let's take it.
And then we'll come back with that.
We'll come back with this. Okay, guys. 2 minutes. We'll be back. Don't forget to tune back in.
Traditional TV is going away. Hollywood is starting to fade. People are demanding real stories from real people. Our voices are now being heard in our own way. Podcasts, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and TikTok Live are becoming the norm. Internet TV has now reached the highest demand in human history. Social media shows, is now the new media of the century.
Hi, I'm Deacon T with Modern Word Ministries. It's great to be with you today. Just a short little promo for our show. Every Sunday morning we have service, and you can follow us at 10 a.m. Pacific Time on modernwordministries.org. And if you missed us or you want to see some of our older messages, go ahead and check us out on socialmediashows.com every single morning at 9 a.m. It's a great way to kick off your day, get a little bit of the word in you, get something uplifting, get you started off on your way. You know, if you're looking for prayer or you need some help, reach out to us. If you go to our website, again, that's modernwordministries.org, you can interact with me via telephone, via DM, text message, whatever you want. I'll get right back to you. So if you need prayer, you need help, you just need somebody to talk to, Modern Word Ministries is here for you. We are your church in the community. So until you see you next time, be blessed, everybody. Bye-bye.
Have you ever dreamed of sharing your views and knowledge with the world? It should be easy, right? Just turn on your phone, talk into the camera, upload to your social media, then sit back and wait to go viral. Unfortunately, it's not that easy. Not only that you need a great message, you also need a video production as well as a quality sound and lighting. If that's not enough, you still need to make sure that video's description, title, and thumbnails are optimized by SEO and search algorithms. What a hassle! Don't worry, Social Media Shows is here to help. With our years of production online experience and professional studio, we can remove all the technical roadblocks out of your way so that you can focus on the message you want to share with the whole world. We have production plans that fit any budget. Visit Social Media Shows today at socialmediashows.com and schedule your free pilot audition today.
Hello, everyone. This is Joseph Skoda with Social Media Shows. Well, I thank all of you for your support through these last several years, and it's been a lot of fun. We've given people a voice they never had before. Now, Social Media Shows is always collaborating with our veterans to help them do things and help out the veterans who are struggling today. And we teamed up with GI Connections, connecting veterans with resources. So please consider helping and donating to this great cause because we're always doing things for veterans. So GI Connections, Social Media Shows, and you is what makes the world a better place. Once again, Joseph Skoda, proud United States Air Force veteran.
Welcome back, Las Vegas and abroad. Dawn Sullivan and Danny Miner. Okay, Danny, we were just about to talk about this story. So I didn't hear about this. What is going on with this story?
I just want the viewers, brace yourself, because Dawn, honestly, this brought me to tears this week. I couldn't even talk about it on my TikTok. I mean, it's all over TikTok. People are devastated. This father in Ohio, I have no idea why he would do something. This is the most horrendous thing I've ever heard of in my life. He took his 3-year-old, his 4-year-old, and his 7-year-old boys. He has 3 boys, and he executed them in front of their mother in the front yard of his house. The one little boy got away from him, and he chased him down, drug him back to the front of the yard, and shot him execution style with a rifle. All 3 little boys.
That's unspeakable. I can't even fathom.
I can't either. This happened in Ohio.
Yeah. And this is the biological father.
Biological father, and he killed him in front of the mother. The mother got shot trying to defend him. She got shot also, but she lived.
So was this out of nowhere?
Out of nowhere.
Does he have domestic violence past with her? Has there been any reports or anything like that?
The only thing he had back like maybe 5 years ago, it was a domestic violence against his father. He was choking his own father. He was arrested for that, for actually assaulting his own father.
Yeah.
Then the charges were dropped because it's family. Probably that's why it was dropped, okay? Now, the grandfather, who's the father, came out and he's like, this is not like him. I mean, could you imagine being the family of him?
No.
I mean, like people were saying, well, the grandfather didn't talk really well in the news. Well, of course, he lost 3 kids. His son's in jail for doing this. I mean, I can't even imagine what that grandfather's going through. Don, this is so heartbreaking. Like, they said the police, the EMTs that went to the scene are going to be scarred for the rest of their lives. For the rest of their lives.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. You
and
can't.
where is this? You said Ohio?
Ohio. I can't remember the name of the town, but it is in Ohio. I think it was close to Cincinnati, close up in that
You have this
area.
on your TikTok.
I have 3 videos. I'm going to tell you how crazy this case is. My one video is at 750,000.
Guys, you got to get on right now when you're done with the show, obviously, and get on to Danny's TikTok and go ahead, look through this.
Act the Crime Solver on TikTok. I have 3 videos. Almost all 3 of them went viral. People are devastated over this, Don. I mean, they're devastated over it. It's crazy.
So he confessed. He confessed.
He sat on this. The cops rolled up, and this is how the cops got the call. Somebody saw a girl running down the road screaming, he's killing everybody. He's killing everybody. So then the cops show up. He's sitting on the curb. They're like, what's going on? He said, nothing. Like nothing, calmly, nothing.
And they just went with the cops.
Yeah.
Didn't try to fight his
Didn't fight with the cops, anything. Sat on the curb, nothing. What's going on? Nothing.
What did you think psychologically, Danny, brings... This is what I don't understand. And you know my background in psychology. What gets somebody to that point where it's just, I'm going to do this? I can't even say I can understand if they weren't his biological kids. I can't even make an excuse for this. But all around, those are your children. Those are your babies. How do you go and just kill them?
And Don, here's
what can take someone to that point?
I agree with you. And listen, this is going to be controversial what I say. A lot of people will not agree with this. But they talk about the active shootings and all this stuff like that. And they want to get rid of guns and they want to get rid of this. Our biggest problem in this country is mental health. Mental health is our biggest problem, and people don't want to hear that. But it's true. I just rode over here, okay? Do you know how many people I saw at red lights that need mental health? And we don't get people mental health there.
All of them.
Yes, we don't get people mental health. Yes. We just let them go. Now listen, if you were sick with cancer, you were sick with some kind of disease, we would get you help. But just because it's your brain that's sick, we don't get you help. It's the biggest problem we have.
Yeah.
It is the biggest problem we have. And Don, as a cop, and I know a lot of people don't know this, but like cops could take somebody to get mental health treatment. Mm-hmm. If a person says they want to hurt themselves or hurt others, I have the right as a cop to say, take you physically in custody and sign you into mental health. And I've done that 150 times.
Is that what a 72-hour hold is?
Yes.
Okay, because I've heard about that before in Las Vegas, and I think this is great. What they'll take somebody is either if they're suicidal or if they're just don't look like they're living the right life in the street, whatever they're doing, talking to themselves, banging their head on a wall, whatever they're doing, they'll take them in, they hold them for 72 hours and assess to see are they safe, are they going to hurt themselves or someone else, correct?
Sort of. And this is where the problem comes.
Okay.
That's how it's supposed to work.
Okay.
Okay? But I'm going to tell you how it really works as a cop. Okay? I take somebody says, I feel like hurting people, I feel like hurting myself. I take them to mental health, and if they're drinking, they're saying, well, they're probably just doing that because they're drinking. Okay? So then, usually, 9 times out of 10, by the time I get back to my police station, they release the person. Right. Because even though I bring them in and I sign a form, yes, this person said that, it's up to the doctor if they're going to hold them. The doctor could release them. Just because I signed the paperwork doesn't mean they're going to be held 72 hours.
So we have a lazy seasoned doctor that's like, oh, they're drunk, let them go back into society.
I've had that. Don't believe me, I've had that. Oh, well, he's drunk. You can't bring them in when they're drunk. People say stupid stuff when they're drunk. Doesn't mean they're going to do it. Don, I've had this so many times that you get frustrated. Because why even bring them to mental health if you aren't going to do anything? I mean, you got a person out there threatening to kill other people, you take them to mental health and they release them. And their hands are probably tied, though. Do you know what I mean?
Danny, I see that so many different lights, what you're saying right now. You bring someone to get help, they release the person. It seems like the system keeps releasing all different types of people.
Yeah.
What is the repercussion there? So let's just say, for instance, in that exact case, you're the cop. You pick somebody up. This guy's not doing too good. He's saying he's going to kill me, his mother, his father, his brother. And you pick him up, you put him in. Some seasoned doctor just had enough, and another drunk person in Vegas lets him go, and then that guy goes and blows up the liquor store.
Right.
What is the repercussion on that doctor or on that judge or on that officer who said, nah, that person's fine, let him go? Is there anything, or they're just allowed to keep pushing them through a system?
I think lawsuits, definitely. I mean, as a cop, I would never risk that. If I went here and you told me you were going to kill yourself, I'm taking you because I don't want to leave you and then you do this and it comes back on me. I would never want to do that. Same thing with domestic violence. I went to a domestic violence case. Any signs of any kind of abuse, I was taking the person.
Yeah.
So I think mental health, if a person's in there saying they want to kill themselves, we need to treat them. We shouldn't just, and I'm going to give you, we got a couple minutes yet, right?
Yeah. We're good.
I got a story for you that you're going to be in shock. I'm patrol one day, right? I get a call. They're like, hey, such and such, and I knew the people. Once you're a cop, you kind of get called to the same houses, and you kind of know the people, because it's the same people. It's like Batman and Robin. This week it's the Joker, next week it's the same people every week, okay? So I get called from this girl that I used to go to her houses for domestic all the time, and her name was Shannon, and she said she was dating this guy named Barry, and they would fight all the time. So she called me, and she said to me, hey, Danny, she said, Barry cut his wrist, and he's driving to Hazleton. We had a big domestic. He took a knife, cut both of his wrists, and he's driving to Hazleton. Okay, from Freeland, which is 2 little small towns in Pennsylvania. Okay. I'm like, okay, I said, I'm out here in the car. And then dispatch calls me. Hey, this guy cut his wrist. He's driving in such and such a car. I park my car so I knew he would pass me. And there he is. He passed me. He's driving his car. I get there and I'm thinking, I've dealt with this guy before, Don, so I'm thinking he fake cut his wrist for attention, oh, look I got a little scrapes, and I'm thinking he did this for attention, and I'm thinking no big deal. So I put the lights on, I pull him over, like I said, I know him, it's like the Penguin, it's like Batman and Robin. I'm like, Barry, did you cut your wrist? Shannon told me you cut your wrist. And he's like, yeah, Danny, I did.
I hate to laugh, but it's just so funny.
It's true.
The way, and even just your delivery, I was like, Barry, come on, Barry.
I did.
Domestics. Sorry, it was funny to me.
I probably was at the house 50 times. I know them better than my kids because they fought all the time, right? So anyway, long story short, he goes, yeah. I said, well, let me see them. And Don, he went like this. And there was blood squirt out of all these wrists. My eyes probably went like this. I reached my radio and said, send an ambulance. So I get down there. I start putting pressure on his wrist. The ambulance gets there. We take him in the ambulance. This is the honest to God truth. I sign him into mental health. You have to write like a little paragraph of why you think they should be treated. So pulled him over and he sliced his wrist with a Rambo knife. Both wrists, gushing blood, right?
I don't mean to laugh. This is not funny.
So I sign him in, I go back to the station, and this was late at night, maybe 7 p.m. at night. Go home for the night, this and that. Next morning, I work day shift. I come in at 8 a.m., start the police car, drive down. Barry is at the red light with bandages on both of his wrists. I rolled the window and I said, did you escape from mental health? I thought he escaped from mental health. He goes, nah, they told me I wasn't a risk, so they let me go. So I can't keep a guy 72 hours that slit both his wrists with a Rambo knife, okay? And then people say, there's not a problem with mental health. There's 100% a problem with mental health. And nobody gets treatment, and that's why all these crimes are happening. That's why this guy's shooting his kids in his yard.
Absolutely.
Because we're not getting people treatment.
Absolutely.
And people want to say it's guns. Listen, I carried a gun for 27 years. It never went off once. If you don't pull that trigger, it don't go off. So I'm sorry, it's not going to be a popular thing, but that's the truth.
It's okay. I love your unpopularity, your conversations that aren't popular. Guys, Danny is absolutely right. I saw something the other day completely disturbing. On the same guidelines, I'll piggyback what you just said. It was a man that was in jail for touching a child.
Okay.
It wasn't an assault, but he touched a child. So I think they gave him 2-3 years for whatever he did. He got out.
That did it again.
7 times before they caught him. The thing is, how do they keep them in prison? How do we do that? You know what it is? There's no rehabilitation.
Yes.
That's what it is. We're putting them away. We're locking them up. They're amongst peers that are acting out as well because nobody's getting any kind of help in there.
Right.
The ones that are, they're finding Jesus.
Right.
And it's probably the only ones that are getting real kind of help.
Right.
They're pushing them through a system, and then they're letting them out again, back into society to do it again.
Listen, I'm going to tell you, Don, I think people can be rehabilitated, but sex offenders, I'm sorry, I don't see it. As a cop, I seen them as repeat offenders
Always.
all the
Yes.
time. I'm going to tell you a quick story. We had a guy that came into our community, and when a child molester would come into your community, they would let you know as the police department. The parole officer would come in, and he told me that. I'll never forget the guy's name. I won't say his last name, but his first name was Eddie, and he was in jail for like 15 years for molesting kids. He gets released, comes to our town. So the parole officer comes and tells us, hey, this guy's living in your town now, blah, 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 blah. Dawn, maybe a month later, I'm trying, and he's not allowed to be around kids. Not allowed to be around kids, part of his parole. All of a sudden, I'm driving down the road with a police car. I see him driving with a car full of kids taking him for ice cream. And I thought to myself, this guy's not supposed to be around kids. I call his parole officer and I said, yo, you better check on your guy. He's driving young kids for ice cream. I personally witnessed it. You know, they never violated his parole, never anything. He molested all them kids.
Of course.
He was taking kids in the neighborhood for ice cream.
Yeah.
He molested them. I arrested him. He's doing life now in prison. He molested like 7 kids.
Psychologically, from a psychological standpoint, and in the DSM, which is the psychology in our book that diagnoses people and stuff, there is not a cure.
No.
There's no way. Like, you can cure anxiety. You can, if you dove deep enough psychologically, you can somehow get to a place where you don't need medicine for like bipolar disorder. Schizophrenia, you would always need medicine. Pedophilia, 0. There is no cure. There are treatment plans that can be done on them, talk them pretty much out of wanting children or desiring children, but that's about it. So how
Right.
scary is that? So once you have one, you're going to put it away, put it away,
Yeah.
and then you're going to put it back into society to do it over and over and over again. And almost every single crime story I watch about pedophilia,
Yep.
they're reoffenders.
Reoffenders.
Again, and again, and it doesn't end. And that's a huge problem in this country. Do you know that we are, I think, one of 3 highest sex trafficking states? Did you know that? Down by Las
Oh,
Vegas.
Vegas,
Boulevard.
yes, yes.
Down for Las Vegas Boulevard.
Yes.
Las Vegas. I'm not saying don't bring your children here or whatever, but be super, super careful with your children. Super careful with your kids. Because it is...
It's horrible.
It's horrible. They are, unspeakables that are happening here in Las Vegas. So I know we compliment Vegas a lot. We love Vegas. We love living here. Both of you and I enjoy Las Vegas.
But you got to be aware.
But you got to be super aware, especially with
Especially on the
little
strip,
kids.
too.
And on the strip with little kids, they're looking for them.
Here's a scary thought, folks out there. I was part of the missing child task force in our county. And what they did was, when a kid went missing, Don, one detective from each department would respond to that scene immediately.
Okay.
And let me tell you why. Because if you don't find a child that's missing within the first 3 hours, child's going to be found dead.
Yeah.
That child is murdered within 1 mile and within 3 hours.
Yeah.
So you have, they're saying 3 hours, you probably have an hour to find that kid, or that kid's going to be missing. And here's the scariest thing. I went through a lot of training on this to be part of this task force. These people that abduct kids, they don't say, here's the scariest part. When you tell your kid don't walk alone, you should. Because they don't say, oh, today I'm going to go out and abduct a kid.
Right.
It's an opportunity.
A circumstance.
Yes, they'll be driving down the road, they'll see a kid alone,
Yeah.
and there's the opportunity. They don't wake up that day and say, I'm doing it today.
Yeah.
When the opportunity arises, they do it. It's sick. But I studied all of this. I was on this task force. You got to find these kids ASAP. As soon as possible.
And isn't it so hard sometimes because schools will just unfortunately not report the kid missing? So
Yes.
for instance, they're walking to school, they get picked up. By the end of the day, then the parent realizes the kid's gone and it's over.
Yes.
It's a very rare thing that kid will ever be seen again. Yeah.
Yes.
There are a couple of cases where they were just taken and stuff and they were found. But I'd say 2 out of every 10,000,
Yes.
right, that they're found alive.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the Amber Alert that you get on your phone,
Yeah.
a lot of people don't understand that Amber Alert. What that Amber Alert is, it doesn't just go out for every kid.
Yeah.
It just doesn't, because they don't want it to be crying wolf. Do you know what I'm saying
Yeah.
to you? They want that Amber Alert to go out and people know that this child is in danger. So before they put that Amber Alert out, they make sure the child isn't missing on their own. They're not a runaway. They make sure that they're in danger.
Yeah.
They have to go through all these critiques before they put an Amber Alert out, because they can't put an Amber Alert out for every single runaway because people won't take it serious.
Absolutely.
They want that Amber Alert when you hear it on your phone that you know this is real. This isn't just somebody that ran away.
Yeah.
Okay, so
This
that's...
person's in danger.
Yes, and a lot of people don't realize that. There's before they put an Amber Alert out, they have to go through a bunch of things to make sure, yes, this child is missing, not on their own.
Yeah.
And that's when they put it out.
Yeah.
So, and they do that just because of the crying wolf thing. They want people to take it serious when it comes out there, because it is serious.
It's so sad lately. There's so many things going on where like even women are involved now, where back in the day people think like a man in a van, and it's so different nowadays. I heard stories of like a woman going up to a child.
Yes.
Or yeah, can you help me find my this, or can you help me find my that? So guys, even in like a supermarket or local Target or whatever, don't let your kids talk to anybody. Almost, I hate to say this, but teach them to be rude. Don't even.
Honestly, you're right.
I'd rather have a rude child that's safe in my arms than a friendly, polite child that's missing. And they should just not talk to strangers at all.
You brought up a good point. I mean, I don't even know if we want to bring this up, but how about school teachers? What they're doing, women.
Insane.
It's mostly women now. It's
Women.
crazy.
And what is this boiling back to, Danny? The mental health. They are so unstable that the teachers. Okay, so someone goes to school for a couple of years, they get their degree, they're teaching now. Where is the mental health in there? If they came from, let's say, themselves a bad upbringing, or they came from abuse or sexual abuse or something themselves, now fast forward whatever years, they're still not mentally developed or over what had happened to them, and now they're just going to go ahead and do that to another child. So you can get as much education in one field as possible, but if you don't fix what's in there to begin with, you're doing it again. You're going to repeat what happened to you, and that's just the way it works psychologically.
I mean, it's shocking. I mean, I can't believe how many times I've seen.
And they're married women.
Yes, they've had, sexual relations with 16, 15-year-old boys.
13 was the young
I know.
one.
And I mean, a lot of people say, that these kids aren't scarred because it's a guy. I mean, it's definitely different with a guy. And I agree, it's different with a boy. I do agree with that. But they're still a child, and they're taking advantage of that child.
They're taking advantage of the child, and I do understand what you're saying. It's different for a boy.
Yes.
I get it. But psychologically, it's really not. Because let's say this kid is 14, and he's in his mind a developed 14, and he's doing stuff with the teacher who's 20.
Right, and he's high-fiving his friends or whatever.
No, she's hot. But you fast forward to maybe he's 25 or 27 or 28, and he's having his first child, and he's thinking to myself, like,
that wasn't right.
That wasn't okay what happened. That wasn't cool.
That lady took advantage of me. And anybody that's power over you, too. I mean, that's a crime also.
Authority.
That's a crime.
Yes.
I mean, if somebody has power over you and they force you to have sex with them, I mean, that's a crime also. I mean, so it's just crazy. I don't know if teachers take psychological exams. I mean, being a cop, we had to take one.
I don't think they have to. I do not think that the teachers have to.
We took did you ever take one of them?
Yeah.
They're like 800 questions.
Yeah.
So if you ever took a psychological exam, they give you 800 questions and probably 50 questions are the same questions, just written differently.
Worded differently.
Yes.
And I was so nervous because I was like, oh no, I can't show them who I really am.
But there's no way hiding it, though.
There's nowhere of hiding, because they're like, all right, that's going to be, yes. They're not easy because they do ask you the same thing over and over, and it almost tricks you to make you think that your answers are going to be wrong.
Yes.
And you're like, you want to sound like this upright, normal person, but
that psychological exam, it could tell you your personality, how you're going to, if you're going to get along with other employees, everything. I mean, that really does. I mean, it fits your personality, everything you do. I mean, I'm sure they read mine and thought, boy, this guy has ADHD so bad. Should we hire this guy?
He's going to be great, but be careful with that gun.
But you know what, Don? That's what I did as a cop. I went right to the public relations.
Yeah.
I was our press guy, so if there was a crime, I went on to the camera. I did the press release.
I'm not surprised.
That's what I was a DARE officer. I taught DARE. That's what I did.
Yeah.
I was our public relations officer.
Yeah.
So.
That's awesome.
So that's what I did.
Hard job, though, huh?
Yeah, it's a hard job, but I like doing that.
Yeah.
I've always liked talking, so it fit.
Are we on a break or are we wrapping?
Break.
Oh, we're taking. Okay, good. We're going to do a 5-minute, and we're going to come back. I have to tell you when we come back about this story, and I finished that other one you told me to watch. Forgot the name of it.
Oh, I know what
we'll be back in just a second.
Got Films is a full-service production company that provides motion picture quality content and production services for use in the film and TV industry. Looking for a seasoned crew, high-quality equipment, or other production services for your film, TV, commercial, corporate convention, sports, news, or interview project? Your search stops here. Some of our projects include NASCAR, American Restoration, Pawn Stars, Counting Cars, Top Chef, BattleBots, Forge and Fire, and Street Outlaws. We have also produced over 60 feature films and documentaries. We're ready for all your needs. Whatever your project, whatever your budget, big or small, Got Films got you. GotFilms.com.
Shopping for a new home is an exciting time, and the mortgage process just got easier. New American Funding's all-digital mortgage application takes all the hassle out of applying for a mortgage. Simply put in your information and we do the rest. Safely and securely verify your income, assets, and tax information electronically. Plus, you get access to track the progress of your application anytime, anywhere. Less questions, less paperwork, less hassle, and instant access. Ready to start shopping for your new home? Let's get started.
I can already feel you judging me, and not for what I've done in the past, but for what I'm about to do. I had what mattered, and I got careless. Like, I don't deserve more. I don't deserve sympathy. I don't deserve to be here.
Where the hell are you? Why aren't you answering your phone?
Jenna! What is the matter with you?
Someone once told me, you may not be everybody's cup of tea, but you're somebody's shot of whiskey.
Excuse me, ma'am. My car ran out of gas and I left my wallet at home. Could you please spare a couple dollars so I can refuel my vehicle?
I literally have nothing.
What's it gonna take to get you to join the program?
Get about the dog! If Jesus wanted you to have a dog, he would have blessed you with a bowl and a leash now, wouldn't he?
Welcome back, guys. Dawn Sullivan, Danny Miner, another episode of Vegas Views. We're having fun today. We're talking about a little bit, a lot of it, everything.
We go on tandems.
I know. We don't stop, so just the conversation starts. But keep up, guys.
Hey, if you want us to talk about anything, email me. thecrimesolver@yahoo.com. We'll talk about it.
Yeah, you can also call in to us.
Yes.
Call in, and then we could ask questions live.
Yes.
Nothing too crazy. Don't ask us anything too crazy.
Yes.
Okay, so real quick, I wanted to talk to you about this. So, do you know who J.C. Dugard is? Old story.
No.
J.C. Dugard. She was a little girl. I know you know this. When I start talking about it, you're going to be like, oh, that one. Okay, so she was a little girl at a bus stop. She got picked up by this man and this woman. Well, the man kidnapped her first. They brought her to a house. She lived in a tent in a backyard. Years and years and years. Had 2 kids or 3 kids with them.
No, I never heard this.
Yes, and they found her.
Oh my gosh.
Her name is J.C. Dugard. Okay, my point to this one is I just wanted to bring the mental health and psychology back into this for a second. So this is the story. Little girl, 7 years old, at her bus stop. Her stepfather's outside, like walking toward her, and a car comes in.
My God.
He watched her get taken away. They didn't take her very far from her house. I think it was like someplace in California to Tahoe. It wasn't even that. It wasn't like so far for her. They had her kidnapped in the backyard under tents and all this crazy stuff for years. I mean, I think she was gone 18 years.
Oh my God.
But in those 18 years, she gave birth, or twice. I'm going to say 2 times she gave birth. And then they ended up finding her. Okay, and how they found her was just really weird. And do you know it was about 15 to 30 times that Child Protective Services came in and out of that house for different reasons, because they were fostering and things like that, and nothing. They never checked the backyard. They never just, can you imagine being this person, being held captive, all these things are happening to you, and there's people there to save you. They're this close, but you can't say, hey, save me.
Oh my God, it's horrible.
So she grows up, and she then births these children with him. And then they get caught. Somehow they get caught. they go back. And psychologically, so many people like ripped her apart because she wrote a book and she was all over People magazine. She was on New York Today in New York, and she was on all these other different programs. And they're ripping her apart, saying, now you have 2 children to protect and you're in this environment. She was a 7-year-old child.
Oh my God.
Taught herself how to read. Taught herself how to just be human at this point. She was treated disgusting all these years. And now they're getting on top of her saying, why didn't you leave? Psychologically, a 7-year-old is so traumatized just by night 1, 2, and 3, what was happening to her. Do you think she's actually going to leave? So please keep an open mind, guys. This is to the public. When something happens to somebody, don't do one of those, you guys should just leave, or why didn't the child run, or aren't children taught to run? You don't know how you're going to act in these situations. You don't know what your natural reaction is going to be. People are funky under fear. You know, there are some people, there's fighters, there's people that are going to fight, there's people that are going to run, there's people that are going to freeze. Fight, flee, and freeze. So you don't know what you're going to do. So yeah, that kind of upset me. I had to put that out there because they rip her apart on social media.
That's
saying,
horrible.
JC Dugard should have done this and that, protected her babies, and she was a baby herself. Her mentality was only still 7. So she's now in her 20s, or now in her 30s. But back then, when she got released, she was in her 20s or late 20s and still she didn't know what was going on in the world. Just kept captive in a backyard. So guys, stop being so judgy, and you don't know what you'd be like under those circumstances. So I just have to put that out there. Okay.
Just anyway, like, I think it was Elizabeth Smart, same kind of thing, right?
Same thing.
Yeah,
they threw
same thing.
so much shade at her. The public threw so much shade. I mean, there was a lot of people that were grateful that she was home and safe. Well, not really safe, but that she was home and that she wasn't murdered. But everything else under the sun had happened to this poor little 14-year-old girl. And yeah, people came at her. Why didn't you just run away from them? Let that stuff happen to you and see if you can just run away, guys. So please have an open heart to this. And that's for society, because that upsets me. You see so much on social media that everyone judges. If I was in that situation, I would do this and this and this and this. Okay.
And it goes back to, we talked about this before, the domestic violence, same thing.
Absolutely.
People say, why didn't she just leave him? He's done this 3 times. She can't leave him because she's caring about her kids. She might not have enough money. Where's she going to live?
Absolutely.
You know, not everybody has family that could help them.
Right, absolutely.
Not everybody's financially stable. So you got to realize sometimes they can't.
And guys, you want to hear something even more crazier than they can't?
Right.
Psychologically, maybe this is comfortable for them.
Yep.
If people were raised in an environment where this is all that they know, maybe dad, stepdad, whomever's beating on mom, and then she grows up and she has some kids early in life, and then someone's beating on her. This is all she knows. Maybe a world and a life without domestic violence wouldn't be something even comfortable for her. So before you jump to judge, or before have some understanding that not everyone is raised the same way you were, and we've all been through a lot, but have some grace with these people, especially people that are true victims. And these are true victims, whether they're victims to the domestic violence that's happening in the home, or they're just a victim to their entire upbringing, to their existence.
Right.
Because like you always say, we're not all on the same playing field, guys. We
100%. Yeah, I agree with that. We don't.
Yeah.
And if you think we do, that's crazy.
Then you're nuts.
Yeah.
Everyone has. It has something to do with every single action, reaction, and the steps we take in our lives. It's from our upbringing.
Yes.
You know, some psychologists would say I'm out of my mind with it, but it is 100%, in my opinion, the truth. What you have here is going to determine what you're going to become unless you get the help you need to fix what was initially broken. With the hopes that some of you, lived your life with nothing broken, had a beautiful, perfect childhood, but that's very, very rare. Everyone's had some sort of trauma that they need to work through.
Sure.
Yeah. I feel like I'm marketing for psychology now. Everyone go call your
We talk about everything here.
Oh, speaking of talking about everything, Danny, okay, I'm not kidding you. So remember how I said last week that, that supernatural stuff's not really my thing, and the whole ghost thing? Okay. So I opened my mind a little bit, and I was like, maybe what he's saying might have some substance. Maybe this is real, and he's not just on one this week. Because I thought that. I'm like, Danny's just on one this week with all this stuff.
No, I lived this.
I kind of believe you. Tell me more. Guys, if you didn't tune in last week, you missed a hell of a show. Danny, tell us what you were talking about, please.
Listen, the UFO... I got more info, okay?
And I promise, this week I'm not going to call you crazy. I'm not going to laugh at you. Not once. I'm not.
Okay, the UFO that supposedly landed here in Vegas in these people's backyard and stuff like that. Now, there was rumors. Listen, I get my news from TikTok and social media. I don't even watch TV anymore because I don't believe Fox. I don't believe CNN. I don't believe any of the news.
They're just programming us like a bunch of abusers.
Yes, it's basically propaganda put in your mind. So I get my news from social media. And there was rumors that I guess Metro Police have a division of Homeland Security. It's called Homeland Security, Metro Police, whatever. And there was rumors that Metro put cameras up in this Homeland Security part of Metro put cameras up in these people's backyard.
Wow.
Now, everybody's saying, oh, it's not true, but they asked Metro. Metro did it. They put cameras up in that backyard for 3 days. Metro admits they did put cameras up in that backyard. Why would Homeland Security and Metro put cameras up in their people's backyard? Because this was just a fake call, right? Why would Homeland Security put cameras up in that backyard? And there was another guy on TikTok. Listen, I know it's TikTok. People could be just looking for views. But this guy was very believable, and plus he did a couple other videos after saying, honestly, I'm just telling you what I heard. He said he was at this event, and there was a Metro cop, and he said, just for the hell of it, he brought up conversation to the Metro cop and says, hey, are we being invaded? Like, just kidding with the Metro cop. And he said the Metro cop looked at him and said, yeah, we're not allowed to talk about it. And he goes, are you serious? He goes, yeah, we're not allowed to talk about it. And the guy said, yeah, it was kind of crazy, you know, this and that. And he goes, you know what's even crazier, the Metro cop said? We have 20 minutes of body cam footage that they won't release and they got rid of.
Yeah.
That there was 20 minutes of body cam thing and it didn't release it, right?
Danny, I'm tough. You're selling me on it, though. You're selling me on it. I'm not kidding. I was on the 215 highway in the Summerlin area heading down toward Las Vegas Boulevard. And first of all, let me start by saying I saw something on TikTok with these two men in these like weird old school top hats and long jackets.
Oh, no.
Did you see it?
No.
And this is new. And they went in and the two people behind the desk of these people just looked like supernatural. They looked supernatural, this and that. Only the backs of them showed up on the cameras. It was some weird hokey thing in the beginning. So then I know I know that you're getting into my head because I'm driving and I see a red 67 Mustang with these two blonde guys that were in suits. They just didn't look like real people today. Like, you don't see a 67 Mustang with like two blonde men and they're driving perfectly. And I'm like, this looks like they're right out of like a different time zone. So my head goes right to, well, Danny said they're like in a different. So I'm thinking to myself, this is a little trippy, but I'm not kidding. When I did pass them and I looked through my rear view, they didn't look human. Their faces looked like, and I'm like, they're amongst us. Like, that's what you said. They're living amongst us, right? I'm starting.
And did you say they were blonde?
They were blonde.
They're called, I think they called them, you're going to really think I'm crazy. I don't even want to say this. They call them Palladians or something like that. They're supposed to be blonde. They look like us. Aliens. I'm just going what I'm told. I'm just saying what I'm told.
I swear to you, I've never heard that before.
That's true.
They were blondie blondes. Like
they said yes.
Blondes.
They're called Palladians. You know what? I'm going to Google it and I'm going to send it to you so you can read about it.
Oh my God.
Listen, I know this sounds crazy, and I know we're got to go. But one last thing. This is the biggest story of our lifetime, and nobody's taking it serious. Your U.S. government told you it's real. They told you they have 12 spacecrafts, and everybody's like, yeah, okay. Like, nobody believes this.
I know, because they've lied so much.
I know.
They've lied to us so much that now when something's real, we're like, oh, we don't believe that crap.
Yeah.
Guys, I think we have less than a minute here. Dawn Sullivan _ Go catch me on Instagram. And guys, I'm going to start being a little bit more active on TikTok. Danny and I were just talking about earlier. So come to I think my TikTok is Dawn Sullivan 17. Dawn Sullivan 17. Guys, Danny, tell them how they can get in touch with you.
At The Crime Solver and at thecrimesolver@yahoo.com. Email me any questions. We'll bring it up on the show. Anything.
And guys, if you have any cool stories for him or anything that's going on, anything you want him to do a little research for or anything like that, it's really, really cool. And start logging on to definitely his TikTok. I said some of it's funny, some of it's crazy. Oh, and for you guys that know Crazy Eddie, who that is, please hop onto Danny's TikTok. Crazy Eddie. It's an old commercial from the 70s and 80s in the East. And it is fantastic. So anybody that knows, that's hysterical laughing right now.
Yes.
People that don't know it, I'm sorry, just Google Crazy Eddie. It's so much funny. Again, Dawn Sullivan _ 877 acting 4, 877 acting 4, Dream Tracks Academy. If you guys need any modeling, acting, TV, commercial, film, print, we're the place to go. See you soon. See you next week. Oh, the week after next week.
I'll be here next week.